Firstly, it's just unfortunate that sometimes the way you say something, it's not perceived in the same manner. Every single thing that I had to deliver to, I managed to do that, which is why there's been so much love and adulation towards me for that. It used to bother me earlier when somebody would I would think that I've given my 100% into a scene, and I actually felt that, oh, you know what, I think that scene was nice and I performed well and I got a lot of love from my director from it for it. And then, the film would come out and somebody would watch it and say, oh, he's so cute. And it would bother me a little bit. Whenever I'm doing something, Prajakta is one of the first people to know about it. Um, and she's been nothing but kind to me. She's nothing but supportive to me. Like, there would be some days where I would just read a nasty comment about me on social media out of nowhere, and that would really bother me. Sometimes there are days where I read, I get a notification saying, with a headline that has something that has blown out, something that I said was blown out of proportion. um where something was perceived in a way that was never meant, it was never intended like that. There are days like that. I've always believed in working very, very hard. And I've always believed in not giving up. हाय एवरीवन, मेरा नाम रोहित है एंड अगर आप ये देख रहे हैं तो आपको पता है कि मैं आई एम इन अ कॉन्वर्सेशन विद शुभजीत. This is, I don't even know which how many times I've spoken to Shubhajit, but the one very, very special quality about him is that he really makes you feel like he's listening to you, and that's such a great conversation. That's such a great quality for anybody you're having a conversation with. I've always loved talking to him, and I really hope that I continue to get to do that with him for the rest of my time. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe to Shubhajit's YouTube channel.
तो
Yes.
दोस्तों, ये जो नौजवान है, बेसिकली मैं नौजवान कह सकता हूँ उनको. whenever I start introducing him, वो जो एक क्यूट डिम्पल वाला स्माइल है वो तो फटाक से आ ही जाता है. लिटरली लास्ट टाइम मैंने कुछ तो कहा था उनको, द रीजन बिहाइंड ऑल द ग्लोबल वार्मिंग एक्सेट्रा, उनको वो इंट्रोडक्शन याद होगा. अभी भी जितने लड़कियों को वहां पे इस आसपास गर्मी लग रहा होगा, ही इज एक्चुअली द रेनफॉल फॉर ऑल दीज पीपल ओवर देयर. Give it up, ladies and gentlemen, for Rohit Saraf. Thank you so much, my bhai, for doing this with me over here, and I love you. How are you doing? सबसे पहले बताओ. I know you are tired, but then is it taking a
Yes.
toll on your body?
No, not like that. I think it's just been a little underslept, but very, very, very happy with all the love that's pouring in, especially from you. Thank you so much, Shubhajit. It's so nice that you always come up with the most innovative introduction. Thank you for that, and thank you for always being so nice.
Always, always. You know, मैं अभी कुछ देर पहले मैंने गूगल पे सर्च किया रोहित सराफ, एंड मुझे दो तीन आर्टिकल्स दिखे वहां पे. एंड उसमें
Hmm.
एक, आई डोंट नो, करेक्ट मी इफ आई एम रॉन्ग, वहां पे लिखा है कि आई हैड हाई एक्सपेक्टेशंस, राइट? नाउ ये जो लाइन है, आई हैड हाई एक्सपेक्टेशंस, ये
Hmm.
एक्सपेक्टेशन डिफर करता है फ्रॉम पर्सन टू पर्सन, राइट? एंड ऑल्सो
Hmm.
एट व्हाट स्टेज ऑफ योर करियर यू आर इन. 3 साल पहले, आई एम प्रीटी श्योर एक्सपेक्टेशन लेवल दैट यू हैड सेट फॉर योरसेल्फ इज क्वाइट डिफरेंट टू व्हाट इट इज नाउ आफ्टर द सक्सेस दैट यू हैव एंजॉयड विद मिसमैच बोलो या फिर विक्रम वेदा बोलो. So what according to you is the expectation that you set for yourself? I want to understand and decode that.
Firstly, it's just unfortunate that sometimes the way you say something, it's not perceived in the same manner. When you say that I had high expectation and that becomes a headline, it was never. And there's a very weird negative connotation to that headline, that I had high expectation for myself,
Hmm.
and stuff like that. It's not at all like that. It suddenly makes it sound like, oh wow, what a breaking story that Rohit Saraf had high expectations and stuff. It really wasn't meant like that. um I think when I say that I had high expectation, I think anybody does. You expect yourself to do better when you're given a film. For example, because right now Ishq Vishk Rebound just released. Let's talk about that or any other film that I'm a part of. Right now, I'm working on Sunny Sanskari ki Tulsi Kumari. If I'm given a role in a film which is as big as that, I will have high expectation, and only if I have high expectation I can perform. Otherwise there's a high chance that I will just sit down complacent and be okay with what I have to offer. I think growth also comes from expectations. And so, when I talk in that particular article, let's say if I were to refer to that article, since we're talking about that one, when I say that I had high expectation, all this while I'd done parts which were supporting the story. It wasn't necessarily leading the story. In this film I was leading the story, and I had been given all the things in my hand to be able to play with. Whether it was romance, or it was dancing on songs, which is such a huge part of it. People think that it's just all fun and games, but it's actually a lot of responsibility to be to do something with conviction. And I
Absolutely.
had all of that, and so I expected that. I expected myself to perform well in all of those. Every single thing that I had to deliver to, I managed to do that, which is why there's been so much love and adulation towards me for that, which I'm very very grateful for. So I think when you talk about expectation, I think that grows with each film. You cannot ever be complacent with what you're doing. I think you have to always keep finding ways to improve. In the same things, you can be doing the same thing, but you have to find ways to improve and be better at it. Because I don't think there will ever be a day where I will say, you know what, I have achieved everything as an actor, and I feel like this is who I am. Like, this is what I have to offer. I think there'll always be a room for improvement. There'll always be room for more. And so yeah, I don't think there's much to decode in that sense. I feel like even for you, as somebody who comes in, and if you are having a one-on-one chat with me, I'm pretty certain that you also have expectation from yourself as a professional. That every single time
Absolutely.
you come to me with a new set of questions, where even if you're asking me the same set of questions which are, let's say, film related, how can you make that conversation even more interesting, right? So it's similar to that.
You related it very well. And मेरे हिसाब से ना जितना मेरा लिमिटेड अंडरस्टैंडिंग है, सक्सेस जो है, और when a film is nice, when a film is not nice, when a film has been liked or not liked, उसका जो पैरामीटर है वो बॉक्स ऑफिस मेरे हिसाब से अभी नहीं हो सकता, राइट? Because of multiple reasons, there's over exposure to the platform. Sometimes people wait. I'll give you an example of a film बहुत पहले का, because I see on social media, मुझे इंटरनेट पे बहुत बस दिखता है, एंड आई सी दैट कि पीपल हैव लव्ड द वे यू हैव परफॉर्म, पीपल हैव लव्ड द वे जिब्रान हैव परफॉर्म, द गर्ल्स आउट देयर, एंड किसी ने भी ये नहीं कहा कि कैरिकेचरिश है और रिपीटेटिव है फ्रॉम व्हाट इट वाज. इट्स वेरी मच सेंट्रीफ्यूगल टू टुडेज टाइम एंड जनरेशन, which is very important, right?
Sure.
So what I want to understand and what I want to tell you is that ki box office, I personally believe, is not the true validation. सोशल मीडिया पे बोलो, एक्सेट्रा पे बोलो, वट एवर कॉम्प्लीमेंट्स से लेके जो भी कुछ तुमको मिला, what perhaps has been the most satisfying for you and what has been the most relatable for you, where you can also understand कि यार इस चीज पे मैंने genuinely मेहनत किया था and this thing has been recognized.
Like you said, I feel like nobody knows what it is that the audiences want um today. Uh, if you were to just simply talk about box office, let's take the most recent example, which is Lapata Ladies. Um, I don't think it did too well on box office, at least in the first week.
Right.
And today, it is one of the most spoken about films on social media. I'm not trying to
Absolutely.
compare a Lapata Ladies and an Ishq Vishk Rebound or any other film for that matter. I'm just
Of
saying,
course.
I don't think this is what my understanding is. I don't think anybody today can come to you and say this is the sure shot formula of what a box office success would be. Make a film like this, and I can promise you the numbers. I don't think anybody can promise. Secondly, I am a novice when it comes to these things. I don't understand numbers in the first place. So even when I'm thrown questions, when people throw questions at me saying, "What do you have to say about box office?" I have nothing to say about box office because I don't understand it. What I do understand is that I have to work tremendously hard um,
Yeah.
to deliver every single day when I'm on set, and that I will continue to do. I think that's my job. I think that's my responsibility towards my director, towards my producers, my fans, my family, and myself. That is something that is in my control, right? To make sure that I am performing.
Yeah.
After that, I think it's also important for me to not associate myself to the film in a way where what happens after a film is done shooting, and once I'm done with the post production of the film, which is dub, etc., etc.,
Yeah.
the fate of the film is not in my control. It's in people's control. It's in people's hands, whether they come to watch it, whether they watch it on OTT,
Mm.
whether they don't watch it at all. I think it's in their control, and I think it needs to be like that. I can't stress about that beyond a point.
Absolutely.
um to talk about what was it that I really really wanted people to recognize and appreciate was that it's not necessarily, you know, I think I worked so hard on this film in every aspect, be it romance, be it comedy, be it
Mm.
the dances, be it the lip sync, which is so
Mm.
incredibly hard to be convincing with. I think I needed to be able to do all of that
Mm.
convincingly, and people recognize me for that. I think that was very very important for me, and that's happened. Be it the critics, the film critics, be it the fraternity itself, be it my friends or my family or my
Mm.
fans. I think more than anything else, I needed to go to a theater, watch myself on the big screen, and be convinced with
Yeah.
what I did, and I was able
Mm.
to do that, and I'm very very happy about that.
Very good. Touchwood. And, one thing I want to understand, this is not particularly related to this project, but, अक्सर जो लोग बहुत ही क्यूट होते हैं या फिर चार्मिंग होते हैं, गुड लुकिंग होते हैं ना, वो लोग अगर कभी कभी बहुत अच्छे एक्टर्स या परफॉर्मिंग आर्टिस्ट भी होता है ना, लेकिन स्टिल समटाइम्स perhaps the focus is a lot more on their looks, right? I want you to understand, have you ever faced that as an issue? Like, and it took you a lot of time to perhaps cultivate this niche for yourself. Ki boss, Rohit Saraf is not just a good face or a pretty face or a cute face who's popular among the others. He's also a damn good actor. ये तुमको बहुत टाइम लगा टू एक्चुअली प्रूव, बिकॉज एक्टिंग तो तुम वही स्किल सेट पहले भी ला रहे थे, अभी भी वही ला रहे हो, एंड ऑफ कोर्स यू आर ट्राइंग टू अपग्रेड. बट वो जो परसेप्शन है, in order to create that in the mind, do you think it took you a little bit of time to do that? Because of course, for all the good reasons, there's a lot of conversation about your looks.
I guess so. I guess so. It used to bother me earlier when somebody would I would think that I've given my 100% into a scene, and I actually felt that, oh, you know what, I think that scene was nice and I performed well and I got a lot of love from my director from it for it. And then the film would come out, and somebody would watch it and say, oh, he's so cute, and it would bother me a little bit. But at the same time, I don't think I can sit and um I can mull or I can get absorbed by the fact that I'm not getting the appreciation for my performance, and I'm getting appreciation for the looks. I think I also want to appreciate the fact that there is that kind of love for simply how I look, and that's really really nice and very very sweet. Having said that, I think what I can do is ensure that I give such a good performance that they're compelled to talk about how well I can perform or how convincing I can be. Um,
Yeah.
so I think my focus has been that. My focus has been that every single project that I'm a part of, I at least want to do so well that when I come out
Mm.
of it, um, and I say this with utmost, for the lack of a better word, humility, and I say that with I say that trying to sound as humble as possible, but I genuinely feel that you are your harshest critic. um Anybody else will probably skip XYZ things, but you don't ever do that. You can catch on to the things that are not okay. And I feel like, Mike, I'm constantly trying to please myself. I am my harshest critic, and when I see my work, I know the places where I can be better. And so every day, my I'm only hopeful, and I'm only kind of trying to be happy with what I do. Because I think if I'm happy beyond a point, of course I of course respect and value all the appreciation and the validation that I get from the outside. But till the time I'm not happy, I don't think any of the validation that comes from the outside can make me feel a thing. I feel I need to be happy with myself. So I think that's what I'm kind of trying to focus on, which is that if I feel that I'm better today than I was yesterday, I think there's growth, there's improvement, and as long as that
Mm.
journey continues, I think I'll be okay.
Absolutely, you will be, and it's all about consistency at the end of the day, bro. I mean, it's all about never stopping. That is what it is. You
Yeah.
mentioned कि वो जो external validation है, वो external validation पहले बाद में आता है. पहले it's about you feeling happy about yourself, right? Now, I'm not sure how many friends you have in the industry, but जितने भी होंगे, I'm pretty sure they must be very loyal to you and who must be there like through every thick and thin. Like मुझे पता है जब मैंने देखा था Instagram पे you made a reel with Prajakta, right? उस टाइम पे गाने को लेके that had got so much of love. उसका बर्थडे था, you posted. I am sure अगर इंडस्ट्री में से कोई फ्रेंड होगी, I mean, she must be one of those friends who must have been very, very happy with your growth as an artist. I want to understand कि से जब प्रोजेक्ट निकला था and जब उसने देखा, did she message you something which really touched your heart, which you found really inspiring because she is one of your first co-stars, right? At the end of the day, you have to acknowledge that अगर वो लोग उसको पसंद करते हैं, they also see the growth because आपके पहले सेट से लेके they have been seeing you. Anything that you found inspiring from Prajakta's and after she saw the movie?
It's not just Prajakta, but also Akarsh. Akarsh is somebody who is very, very close to me. And since we're talking about firsts, I feel like Prajakta and Akarsh, they're both kind of equally out there for me. And they've always, always been there. Whenever it is that I'm signing a new project, I always speak to Akarsh about it. Whenever I'm doing something, Prajakta is one of the first people to know about it. Um, and she's been nothing but kind to me. She's nothing but supportive to me. I do believe that we are each other's biggest cheerleaders, and I love that about us. When it comes to what they said about the film or how they reacted to my film, so Akarsh had obviously been heavily involved in the post production of the film also, because he's a also an actor in it. He plays my father, which is so funny and such a lovely kind of space to be in. Because he really has been, to a certain degree, a father figure in my life. He's been really, really nice to me through the last 5 years of shooting Mismatched across seasons. Um, so he had been heavily involved in the post production also. He's also written some of the dialogues of the film. So of course he had constantly been nothing but encouraging to me, and he'd always told me that, what, you're going to get a lot of love for this because I know how good you are in it. And Prajakta also, she doesn't have to say much. She came out of the film and she sent me a text saying, "I'm so proud of you," and that meant everything to me. That's the kind of text that she sent to me, and I keep telling her the same thing. Her book is just, she's just announced her book some time ago. On her birthday, she announced one of the she announced on a post that she wants people to help her choose the cover of the book. And it just makes me feel so incredibly proud to see how what she's doing with her life. She's creating so much value. Um and I think just knowing that I they I have their back, they have mine, it just feels really, really nice and it feels secure. So yeah.
How cute, ये जो conversation का सिलसिला I would have loved to continue, but then there's a timer again playing in my mind. So I think
Yeah.
for now मुझे एक आखिरी सवाल रख के I have to perhaps wrap it up and before perhaps we later plan a long format podcast. But ये रहेगा कि
Yeah.
we talk about actors and performing artists being happy in their own zone and then picking and choosing accordingly. But I want to understand there are also phases where actors genuinely feel the heat, not because of perhaps
Sorry,
what
will you
they
say that again?
there yeah, yeah. So I'm saying that there are actors who are always quite happy about themselves and the way they are going, and which is very important for their own personal sanity. But there are also times when actors, irrespective of the hard work they're putting, they're also facing a lot of heat. There's so much of pressure, बोलो, because that pressure also comes from a sense of responsibility. आपने पहले अच्छा काम किया है, so of course naturally वो pressure, responsibility रहेगा. add on pressure from external situations, projects se ho, aage kya karoge, etc. But different people have different ways of handling that, right? I want to understand, how does Rohit Saraf, what makes Rohit Saraf actually feel the heat, and how does he ensure that he comes out of that zone and only stay focused on his work? Because ये बहुत ही एक distracting factor होता है, and it can either break you or it can make you.
So I feel like there is no sure short way of telling you that, you know what, this is what really irks me, or this is what this is what makes me feel disheartened, or this is what discourages me, or this is what bothers me. I feel like it really depends from day to day. Like there would be some days where I would just read a nasty comment about me on social media out of nowhere, and that would really bother me. Sometimes there are days where I read, I get a notification saying, with a headline that has something that has blown out, something that I said was blown out of proportion, um, where something was perceived in a way that was never meant, it was never intended like that. There are days like that. There are days when, no matter how well you do, sometimes it just doesn't work for the audiences. There are sometimes when you work tremendously hard, but it just doesn't land. So of course there are different days that where you feel different things, and there are different things that can make you feel down and out, sometimes disheartened, sometimes heartbroken, sometimes just bothered or stressed or anxious. I feel like what's important, and I say this a lot, and I say this from the beginning of my time, is that I've always believed in working very, very hard. And I've always believed in not giving up. It's just something that's not in my DNA. I can't do it. I can't I can't be complacent. I cannot not work hard. I can be ridiculously tired, but I would still ensure that I'm working very, very hard. It's just how I'm built. It's just what I know it takes to kind of realize a dream, and I have many. So what I ensure. See, I don't try to rush into the process of, oh, let me do something that makes me feel better. It's okay. I feel like it's okay for me to, kind of feel the way I'm feeling, because that's also important. I feel like it's important to not brush that feeling under the carpet, because I feel like one or
Right.
the other way it'll manifest in my life when I don't want it. So I might as well,
What to
kind
do?
of get through with it and get it out of my system. I think usually talking really helps. Talking to people you love, talking to people who will be honest with you more than anything else. I think sometimes it's also people's honesty that is required, and it's the need of the hour. Sometimes I just need my mom to give me a reality check, or I just need like my friends to give me a reality check. So I think most often than not, talking and really truly understanding how I'm feeling is what helps me the most. But apart from that, I think um, what I do remind myself in situations like those is that it's done. What's done is done. You can't do anything about it. And what you can do is ensure that it doesn't happen again. And in those situations also, there are just sometimes that you can't do anything about it. For example, what do I do about a hate comment? I can't do anything about it, so I shut the app, and that's about it. And then I get distracted about it. So it's really it's all every day is a new day, and every day there's a new thing that you're kind of learning about yourself.
Rohit, on the dil se, I can swear and say, one of my most favorite aspects of yours has to be that कम टाइम के लिए हो या ज्यादा टाइम के लिए तुम दिल खोल के बात करते हो. एंड देयर आर टॉपिक दीज आर टॉपिक्स विच आर वेरी वेरी सेंसिटिव. अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल डोंट ओपन अप, बट तुमने दिल खोल के तुम्हारा पॉइंट रखा, विच आई रियली रियली अप्रिशिएट. एंड व्हाट आई अंडरस्टूड, विच आई ऑलवेज न्यू, इज दैट ये जो हार्डवर्क वाला पॉइंट तुमने बोला कि इट्स जस्ट नॉट इन योर डीएनए टू नॉट वर्क हार्ड. आई मीन दैट्स अ साइन ऑफ अ वेरी एम्बिशियस ह्यूमन बीइंग. एंड अगर एम्बिशियस ह्यूमन बीइंग रहोगे, बनोगे, तो देन ओनली यू ग्रो एंड गेट गोइंग फॉरवर्ड. And I love you, brother. And you just get going. Like I said, consistency. ऊपर नीचे
Thank
रहेगा, but
you.
it's about never stopping. And I'm looking forward to meeting you in person very soon, giving you a tight
I
hug,
promise you,
and
I
then putting
promise you, I'm going to
something.
make that happen. Just please be a little patient with me. I promise you, I'm going to
Absolutely,
make that
absolutely,
happen. Let me just
absolutely.
wrap my head
No, no,
around
you
everything that's happening, and then
you
we'll make it
you you
happen.
you take a breather and you relax for the moment. And right now, you
Yes.
relax and still focus on the next. Do well. The audience is there for you. I am there for you. There are others like me
Thank
who are
you.
there for you. There are good people around there for you, so you don't have to worry at all. Thank you so much, and
Yes.
God bless.
Thank you. Thank you so much, bro.